Welcome to this Modelogix demonstration. So Modelogix is a cost modeling tool used to prepare conceptual estimates based on historical data. So today's demonstration will be a short overview of some of the features that Modelogix offers and how to show you how easy it is to produce a conceptual estimate quickly and easily using your historical data as the basis. So Modelogix is a web-based product, so there's a web server component and a application component. What you're seeing here is the application component, and I've just logged in and now I'm ready to work with some of the data elements that are available to me. So when you first start with Modelogix, what you'll want to start figuring out is how to import some of your historical data. So I've got a few projects over here that have been imported already, projects 1 through 6, and these were imported using an Excel template. So when I import a new project, I am able to provide it some basic attributes such as the size of the project, and that can be in any kind of units that you want to measure the size in, as well as the date that the project occurred on, and then optionally a address location. So to import a new Modelogix data set, you click on Import from Excel, and you can set up these templates. Now I've set up a template here that's based on uniformat, and then I can browse and upload an Excel file to get my historical data in there. Optionally, I can import directly from WinEst, which is a detailed estimating tool if that is the what you want to base your future estimates on. So these projects could be completion costs for projects that have already been executed, and that can again help you formulate your cost models going forward. So once you've got your historical data in there, you'll probably want to start searching it to start building your new cost model. So if I click on search, I can see some of the search attributes that I've got. So the search can be based on either your date or location or any other kind of attributes that you've assigned to it. The search feature is quite flexible and allows you to apply individual filters so that I can say I'm looking for only projects of a certain size, for example, and then I can filter, and all the projects that match that criteria are displayed in the search result screen for me. Size is only one element that I can search on. Any of the attributes that you applied to your historical data can be available for search. So Modelogix supports a whole set of different cost coding structures. So in this case, we've got uniformat level 1 and level 2 added, but you could also add all sorts of different cost tables like CSI, division, and even custom coding structures are supported. The nice thing is that you don't have to build these coding structures yourself. They're automatically created when you import your project based on the data set that you've applied. Smart categories are a great way to organize your historical data. So in this case, I've got a smart category which gives me a multiple choice question to fill out. This is like a questionnaire as people are importing their historical data. Clearly, as your data set grows, you're going to want to make sure that you apply the right type of categories to it so that you can find historical data that's close or similar to the type of work that you want to work off of, because that's going to produce the most accurate conceptual estimates. Again, here I've created a simple smart category called type of project. It's a multiple choice, type 1 and type 2. I could put any kind of choices I want in there. And again, this is going to help me find my projects based on type, for example. Cost indices are a great way to normalize your data based on both time and location of the project. So clearly projects that were executed 10, 15 years ago are going to have a different cost structure to projects that will be executed now or even in the future. And this inflation index allows you to normalize or align the data based on the time that the project occurred on. You can also apply location-based indexes so that, for example, a project that was executed in San Francisco could be, that data could be used on a project in Dallas or Chicago or any other city that has a different cost structure or different cost components to it. So now we've talked a lot about how to set up different options inside of Modelogix. We'll go and look at the actual cost modeling itself. So I've got 3 cost models created here, and I can go to the details to show you some of the elements that I've added to it. So in this particular cost model, I've created a new model with a 125,000 square foot facility, and this project is going to be executed in July in Chico, California. If I click on the spreadsheet, I can see all the elements that have been, all the historical data that's used to make up this particular cost model, project 1, 2, 3, and so forth. Just scrolling down, I can see that my total cost is $179.39 per square foot. And again, that's based on this uniformat level 2. I can certainly change the uniformat level if I wanted to. I could drag on uniformat level 1, for example, and now I can see, if I just want to summarize it, it's that same $179, but now I can see it aggregated at this higher level. I may want to look at some statistics inside of my cost model, and I can click on the Statistics tab. And here I can see all sorts of information like the mean, median, minimum, maximum, range, variance, and so forth, including standard deviation. This helps me understand how my data is aligned and how closely it is aligned with my new cost model. So let me go and click on range. And here I can see all the different cost elements by uniformat level 2. And each bar represents both the highest value and the lowest value, as well as all the intermediate values that make up that particular WBS element. And the red arrow here shows me what the cost model element was. So you can see how these have been added in there, and Modelogix has calculated the cost model. Let me just switch to uniformat level 1 and we can see it summarized here. So let's go ahead and create a new cost model. So I click Create New Cost Model, and I can give it a size. This one might be 100,000 square feet. And you can see the various units here. Again, depending on the type of project that you're creating, you might choose different units. So I'm going to choose square feet. And then I'm going to say this project is going to happen in a few months. And the address might be in Fresno, California. So now I'm ready to start adding my historical data to the project to drive my cost model. So I can pick project 1. I can pick project 2. And I can drag on project 3. And now I can see what Modelogix has done. So Modelogix has analyzed those 3 projects for me, and it has calculated what my total unit cost is per square foot for each of my uniformat levels. If I click on range, I can see the various range elements in here, very similar to how I looked at the previous cost model. Let me just switch to uniformat level 2, and I can get greater insight into this project. Now what I can see is that this project is got some ranges here in the superstructure. So let me go over and back on the spreadsheet and switch this to uniformat level 2. I'll just remove that one just so I can see it a little more clearly. And I can see my overall cost is calculated $162.06 per square foot. But there are some elements in here that I know I might need to adjust. So for example, the superstructure is calculated at $26.59 per square foot, but this project in Sonoma is bringing that overall value down because it was a much lower cost than my other 2. So if I don't want to include this because I think that my superstructure is more likely to be similar to these other 2 projects, I can just disable that cost element, and now it recalculates the element for me, and I can see the impact on my overall project cost is now $164.48, up from $162.06. There are some other adjustments I might be able to make as well. So for example, on the site preparation, I might say that I don't expect this to be $9.75 a square foot, that I expect it to be much more expensive and maybe even $14 a square foot based on my understanding of the scope. And you can see the field has been highlighted yellow, indicating that it has been changed, and my overall cost per square foot now has been increased to $168.73. Note I can always undo the change if I like, just by clicking the undo amount, and now it goes back. So it remembers the previous values as well as the change values. This way I can go ahead and make some edits to my overall cost model and make it more relevant to what I actually think the scope is going to be. And if I go back to my range, I can see now that that line has been reduced significantly and tightened up. So let's look at some reports. So reports will be the last area that we demonstrate. So I've created this report template, and I did that just by dragging on the report designer, nice, easy to use. And I can just quickly click on this, and now Modelogix is going to produce a PDF report that shows me all the details of my conceptual estimate. So here's the overall estimate, and you can see it's at $168. Here's all the backup information, so I can see all the historical data that I've used. Here's that range report that's showing me the range of values. And here is my detailed estimate finally with all the variances in there. So let me just close this. And just to finalize things, I just want to wrap up what we saw today. So we saw how Modelogix was able to import historical data. We were able to work with different coding structures. We were able to set up smart categories. We prepared a cost model or a conceptual estimate. We did some analysis and made some adjustments, and then we prepared a report. So as you can see, Modelogix is a very easy to use tool that really unlocks the hidden value in your historical data. It allows for conceptual estimates to be produced when there's little or no scope definition based on some parametric estimating techniques. Modelogix can really provide you some tremendous value to your capital planning process by providing accurate and consistent estimates.